Hello and welcome. I'm Peggy. Thank you for letting us be a part of your day. And I have somebody special here, so just get ready. Dr. Rhoades is here. And he's a marvelous man, and he has good common sense to me that he shares with other people. And of course, he is a family therapist. And we've been sitting here chatting before we went on the air, and we're talking about change. Well, it's inevitable. Now we have a whole summer is past, and we have to adjust now to summer's over. So here's the school and the jobs and all the things that we have staring us in the face, whether we want them or not.
Exactly. And one of the things we're trying to let people know today is change is inevitable, and that when you work with it, life is better. When you try to resist it, when it becomes quote unquote the enemy, then what we want people to know about is life's going to be hard for you. That we live in a world now that is ever changing. And we both talked about, as we've grown older, we've seen in so many different areas huge change. And we've also seen people that couldn't change have fallen by the wayside. But people that could change have been on the bandwagon. And we're not asking people to accept everything and do away with the old days. We're asking people to look at things, evaluate them, and move with them. And that
a new job, a new school.
Oh, gosh, yes.
You know.
And think, Peggy, so many children don't do well in school because their family is resistant to change. And we both have talked about one of the important things of school is the acceptance of change. It's a new year. It's a new teacher. It may be a new school altogether. And I can even remember when a new year brought having to ride the bus. I'd never ridden the bus before. But you had to get in there. You had to stand with all the kids. And you had to take the bus.
But it's a learning experience.
Yes, and at the core of what we're talking about, Peggy, is flexibility. The power of flexibility. That children who come in and say, this is what I need to do. I need to learn to do the bus. I need to work with kids. I need to learn to get my dinner right, get my backpack and everything set up. Do better down the road. They seem to have a better educational experience than the resistant child. And what we've seen is that follows you all the way through life. Because as we've talked about, wouldn't it be nice that when you were 18, you got a job, and when you were 80, you got out of that job? Well,
life doesn't work that way.
Doesn't do that anymore. Now, maybe way back in the day, you could work at the iron mill, and you could work to the iron mill all your life and then get a gold watch and get out. But that doesn't happen anymore. One of the things I was reading out there was that the average individual changes jobs over 5 times in their lifetime.
In their lifetime.
Right. And how good are you at making that change of moving from one place to the other? And another thing is, I was thinking today as I was looking at this last weekend, the students moved back to Furman University. Mm-hmm. And I thought, boy, now there is change. There is adjustment. Gosh, I can remember I had lived in my own room in my own house, and then I went to school, and I had to share one room with another guy and a bathroom with 3 guys. I was like, yuck, this is the worst. No, it was how adaptable could you be? Could you work with people? Could you get along? And so that makes it either smoother are more difficult. You know, it's just amazing how getting into, and that's one of the things we're doing with this program, is we want to encourage people to examine the flow of change in their life, change how their house is set up, change how they go to school, change what might happen if you're transferred from one part of the country to the other. What do you need to do? Because we're saying there's some things you need to do, and if you do them, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be happier, and the third, you're going to perform so much better. If you look at the change and say, where do I fit into the flow? Kind of like a river's flowing, and if I'm willing to go with the flow, I can work with that. I remember learning about the undertow in the ocean, and they said most people who drowned are pulled out to sea by the undertow, and they're trying to swim back, and they wear out, and they end up drowning. And they say people, though, that keep their eye on the shore and move along with it and gradually move toward the shore survive more often. And so that's how they teach so many kids. And I see that, even though that's about the ocean and the undertow, I see that's in school, in work, in relationships. How do we need to do it? Common sense says, go to the shore. That's what our instincts tell us, go to the shore. If it doesn't fit, dig your heels in. And we don't realize, oh boy, if you move to a different town and you dig your heels in about going to a church, that's in the church I went to where I went. These aren't the same people. I used to be somebody in this old church, and nobody knows me here, so I'm not going to join anywhere. And what we're saying is, it's not going to be, and you're going to have to make some adjustments, but life will reward you. That's what we're trying to tell you. Life will reward you if you work with the change. If you do it in a certain way, it is amazing how healthy and happy everybody's going to be. And it's a great lesson. If you teach your children how to adapt to change, I guarantee you, I want the viewers to know right now, your kids are going to make better grades. If you do that in a job, you're going to be rewarded by better performance. When you do that in a marriage, you're going to have a better marriage. You're going to get along. But if it's, I'm not changing, this is that we've always
done it this way.
Or we've never done it this way. Wow. Boy, you talk about problems and agony and emotional issues. So many people out there, Peggy, make life harder than it ought to be. Shouldn't be that hard. But people, they don't grab onto it. It's interesting to talk to you because you've changed so much. So when we talk about change, you're like, yeah, change, that's good. You can do this, you can do that. But wow, like I was telling you before the show, you're a tiny, tiny piece of America, a little bit, because you've lived in New York. You've lived in San Francisco. You've lived in South Carolina. Oh, my goodness. So life has demanded from you change, or it's going to break you. Yeah. And I love how you said, it didn't just go perfect when we came to Greenville. It wasn't perfect, but we got involved. We stepped up. We did what we had to do. And now it's home to you.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. And what I'm saying to our viewers out there, it's home because you made it home. It didn't just arrive and you're now in Greenville. Home, you're a new home. No, it's because you worked at it. You stepped out. You took the energy and the time and the effort to make a difference. And people can love that and work with that. That's what they understand. Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, sometimes we have to change when we don't want to. I mean, we don't always have a choice. But it's been my experience that if I put myself into whatever is required of me, I always end up the winner. I always end up meeting new people or doing something I hadn't planned on doing. And it's a chance to learn.
Oh, I love that, Peggy.
When you stop learning, you might as well be dead.
Yes, but see, I could bring 100 people in here who would disagree with you and say, no, I'm not going to change it. No, I wouldn't do that. If you today said, well, we got a great job in New York. I got 100 people within a distance of where I can throw a quarter from this station who wouldn't go. Even if you said, I have a great opportunity in San Francisco. Woo, buddy, no way. Not going, not going to be part of that, you know. And the reason being, well, they don't have any Duke's mayonnaise in San Francisco. And you know we like Duke's here in South Carolina. But that's, and you and I sit here and go, goodness gracious, they're serving mayonnaise. They got a grocery store. Walk in there and take whatever, you know, mayonnaise they're making. That's how it works. And people who are happier, who are healthier, whose kids are happier and healthier, are people like you're talking about. They look at a situation and they don't see the glass as half empty. They see the glass as half full. Here's an opportunity. Here's a place where I can grow. Here's a chance for me to meet new people. You know? And there are people out there, Peggy, who don't want to meet new people.
Well, I suppose that's true.
Who don't want to do new things, you know? And so whether it's forced on you or it's made available to you, you know, and you have a choice in it, it's still hard. We want people to know out there.
Well, it is hard.
Change is real hard. It's real hard. But the other side of what we're trying to share with people, psychologically, emotionally, physically, spiritually, if you work with it, makes you better. Makes you better.
If we look for the good,
yeah, well,
there's always good if you look for it.
Well, right, exactly. And that's an effort. That's a choice. That's a determination right there to say, I'm going to find the good in something, which reminds me of a story where they had a little kid who was so optimistic and he was good for change, he was good to go, and they said, well, we're sick of that. We're not going to have this kid being all up and excited and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to put him in one of the horse stalls and have him shovel horse dung all day. And so they put the kid in there, and about an hour in, they heard singing coming out of the stable. And they went, what is going on? And they were in there, and that little kid was shoveling away and cleaning up the horse stall and happier than all get out. And they went, what is going on here? And the little kid looked up and said, with all this horse dung, there's got to be a pony somewhere. And there are people who do that. They do that with life. They go in and we're not saying you're going to walk in and it's not going to be a dirty, stable life, a dirty, stable job, a dirty, stable school, you know. But if you're looking for the good stuff in there, it's amazing how all of a sudden, oh, that's a wonderful school. Oh, that's a wonderful job. I didn't realize so many godly people went here. And that I agreed with so many people. And that's a conscious choice.
Okay. We have to make a choice to go to a break, and we'll be right back.
Oh.